how do Dr. Pillai's teachings apply to you, and how can you apply them in your life for whatever you're dealing with and whatever you want to achieve? Whether he's teaching 100 people, 10 people, or just you, it's personal. He knows exactly what you need in the practical world of money and of business and relationships, and in the spiritual world as well, of ascension and all these glorious enlightened times that we're coming into. So you're on your own personal journey with him, no matter what, whether he's talking to many or just you. So there are four unique personalized components in Dr. Pillai's upcoming Mystery School program. And of course, the main crutch to Mystery School is the monthly initiations and the impromptu teachings. And these are transferences of energy. They're spiritual energy that's from the teacher to the student, with the intent of love to be strong enough to go and touch your soul. So the first personalized component of the Mystery School teachings is called the Destiny Changing Double Astrology Reading. And the reason that this is so powerful is that life is really so unpredictable. It seems really to be completely random. You're trying to minimize the unpredictability, and you're trying to minimize the randomness, and to know kind of what's the best thing to do, what's the best direction to go in. And that's where astrology comes in. Dr. Pillai likes this quote from JP Morgan that says, "Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires use astrology." And that speaks everything to how powerful astrology is. So if we take an example like business again is unpredictable. You're investing in something, and you apply all the logic, all the brainstorming, all the strategy that you can. But then tomorrow, you realize that the whole idea is wrong. But astrology can save you from that. So Dr. Pillai knows karma better than anyone else. And this reading will uncover the opportunities that are there in your life and that you're not even aware of today. And how it works is the astrology will read both your birth chart. That's your general chart. That's your overall karma that brought you into this world. It's all your past lives. And then he'll also read your prasna chart, which is about what's going on right now. It's kind of like a comparison to help you and to help him create and give you the roadmap for your destiny. So what are the two common things here? Because the prasna chart is more about what's going on now. It's what's going on in your head. What are the events in your life? What are coming up? What are you planning to do now? What problems are you facing? And you need both of these views. You need a long-term view, and you need this immediate view as well. Again, what is your destiny? And I can speak to my experience having both of these readings. I had one 3 months ago, and I just had one last week. So I got a chance to go through this process ahead of time. And I saw a marked difference in my second chart reading, in that I saw that my consciousness in one particular area had changed dramatically. And the astrologer, who we're going to hear from here in a little bit, showed me, and he said, look at how much this has changed. So he looked at the planets, and the planets definitely signified the consciousness change, and that change is happening in real world as well. So the inner is the outer, Dr. Pillai teaches. The other thing that really showed me is that there were some things in my subconscious mind that I actually don't want to manifest. That came in the chart as well. So I thought, oh my gosh, I actually don't want that to manifest. So now I know, I'm aware of that subconscious thought, and I can put it away. So let's say feel like you're not ready to buy a house, okay? But it comes in the chart that this is a good time to buy the house. It may. It may be a good time. So it kind of opens your mind up to seeing exactly practically what steps you need to take. Now, next we have the priest. We have a personal priest, and like nobody has a personal priest. This is an opportunity to chant with someone who's learned mantras from the age of 7 years old. They know how to call the divine. They know how to call the god and the goddess and have that god respond. So this is a personal priest, and no one in the world has a personal priest. It's a VIP service. So the priest is going to sit with you and help you chant the mantras that are being assigned to you, the mantras that are going to change your destiny that you've received from your readings. So this is an incredible opportunity to go deep into the sound form of the God. So that's what the mantra is. It's the sound form. It will call the sound form of the God, and the sound form is everything as far as us changing. Next, we have the Dr. Pillai's email. Now, you have the opportunity to express to Dr. Pillai what you want to achieve, what's in your heart. And to have this audience with Dr. Pillai is a really rare opportunity, because the minute he opens your email, your karma has changed. Your destiny is starting to go in the right direction. He looks at your astrology chart and he gives a remedy. This isn't just a remedy that you get, you know, we get along the way. Maybe we get it at a temple or we get it from a priest. This is a remedy that's birthed out of Dr. Pillai's intervention in your karma. So this is a very, very powerful experience. And next is coaching. So this whole journey, each month is personalized for each person to accelerate whatever you're learning and to help you achieve your goals, both material and spiritual. There has never been a program like this before. Babaji himself, Dr. Pillai himself, has designed this process, and it's the first time. He's laid out a coaching plan. So this is immensely valuable because it means that you're not only being coached by Dr. Pillai, you're also being coached by the trainers who he has trained, the coaches he has trained. So you're getting the benefit of having both of this information, both of this wisdom. So a trained coach, they'll sit with you, they'll go through your life, they'll motivate you, they'll keep you on track, they'll keep you accountable to do the practices. And the most common question we receive is, how do I fit all this in? And what mantras do I chant? Because you're going to get some different mantras. And this is where a coach really comes in. The coach will come in and say, these are the mantras you should be chanting. And here's a doable practice for you. It doesn't have to take too much time. But consistency is really good, and a coach will keep you accountable. They'll keep you consistent. So this is very, very valuable to people. From the astrology reading, you'll know what's karmic in your life. Like I said, I started getting these subconscious thoughts that I didn't want to have manifest. So that was a karmic thought. And I thought, okay, no, I want that thought gone. But I want to manifest these other things that are coming up. So you know what's karmic and what blockages are preventing you from achieving your goals and creating the change you want. This is super important. The blockages are key. If you can get to the blockages, which I'm going to share some tips here, then that is the most important thing in changing your life and changing your destiny. So let's say you're trying to get a better job. You have to look and see that subconscious thought. What is that? What is keeping you in this current job that's not allowing you to have a better job? What planet is responsible? That is also key, because it's very difficult for us in our mind, in our human mind, to get to that thought. But the planet will clearly highlight it, throw light on. That's actually what astrology means. It means it's light. it will throw light on the solution. So you start to work with the planet or the god or goddess that overlord on that planet. And the mantras will be given in astrology reading. A coach like me or others will help you implement this and develop a practice, like I said, that is doable. So Dr. Pillai, again, has never created a coaching plan for us. So he's given us a process to take the teachings, to break them down for you each month, to customize them. And we've integrated the astrology too, to analyze again your karma against what you want to accomplish. So what's standing in the way and how to give the perfect way to overcome these obstacles. This is what the coach is going to do. They're going to integrate everything and bring it to you so it all makes sense, and so that you basically on the trajectory to the right destiny for you. So I want to share some coaching tips. These are spiritual coaching tips, not mundane coaching tips. And spirituality, when you have the spirit blown into you, then everything is possible. So Dr. Pillai talks, when we started this program, we started kind of laying out the template. And he said, well, your first question should be, what's the problem? And it's kind of funny, right? Because most people want to say, well, what are your goals? What do you want to create in life? And then people give their vision of what they want to create. But it's good. But again, the human mind may not be able to assimilate it. But Dr. Pillai wants to get to the solution very quickly. He wants to get to the need. What's your need? What's your solution? And then if you plot that, your destiny is definitely going to start to unfold. And we'll hear from Mina a little bit later. But that's one of the things that comes that I mentioned about the astrology reading, the double astrology reading, is I found my destiny. Like I found my life purpose in that astrology reading. And although I had known it a little bit, I really hadn't thought about it in practical terms. How could this happen? So when you ask people what they want, you might get 3, 4, 5 things, right? But if you ask people what they need, this is the first tip, think about what you need. You get one answer because people definitely know what they need. That's the problem, right? That's the problem that you want to solve in your life. So, if you want to make $100 million, I'm all for that. But the mind has to also believe that. And there are also strategies and tips that we can share to help people stretch what they can believe in so that they can achieve, that higher goal. They can aspire to achieve that higher goal. The mind has to believe it can do it. Dr. Pillai often says, you cannot manifest what you cannot conceive of. And that's really belief, right? What do I conceive? It's what I believe. So this is something Dr. Pillai boils it down to something that you can believe in. And sometimes it's easier to believe in something near term. The mind will have and build hope over accomplishments. That's just the way the human mind works. Always with that bigger goal on the other side. So it's not that you're going to sacrifice that big purpose that you have. But when you practically look at it, if someone gives you today, $10,000, you're going to be so excited. You're going to be so happy. You're going to be so joyous. And versus, let's say, I'm praying for, $10 million at the end of the year. What's going to inspire you more? It's going to be the thing that you get today. So that's an important aspect. So the whole thing is to believe it, and then also to have it be something that is a little bit more near term, so you can have these wins and plot your path. Now, going back to the problem question If we deeply understand why do we have that problem, then you can solve it. It's a subconscious thought, and the mind can't let go of it. The mind itself cannot let go of it. That's why we need this divine intervention to say, hey, that's a thought. You don't want to think that thought. Let's change it to the best thought. Let's change it to this glorious, amazing reality thought. So this is where the astrology comes into play. It's really, really important. You need to get to the planet that's getting in the way so that you can remove that thought. And as Dr. Pillai says, then you can get a fix in the way of God money. So God money comes from working with your spiritual practices, and my experience of having the opportunity to have received God money through my mantras and my practices is that it's great. It's way better. It doesn't have a lot of strategy to it. It's kind of a no-brainer, and you feel like you just had the spirit blown into you when you get that big gift. The next thing is don't ask how. This is a really tricky one, and I struggle with this one a lot. So you may have a goal, but the Dr. Pillai often teaches, don't ask how, because the mind will immediately start to go into logic, analyzing, all of that. And then we've been doing that our whole lives, but it hasn't given us what we're looking for. So the best thing to do is to kind of put that logic, that analysis aside, and go for the goal. Just really have that beautiful desire of that goal, the goal you want, both short term and long term. Just really feel it and get excited about that goal. So those are the coaching tips that I'm giving everyone. And to be consistent, I wanted to just mention this one thing. Every day you're going to sit down and do a practice. You really have to, because it doesn't have to take too much time. But the reason that every day works, the reason that consistency works even throughout the day, there'll be different practices Dr. Pillai will give. It's because the brain, it's really neuroscience. The brain drives around along a path, and then if that path hasn't been used that often, let's say you're trajectorying to a goal, you're driving to a goal, if that path hasn't been well worn, let's say, or you've thought that thought over and over again, then the problem is that it will be harder and harder to go on. So consistency, the coach will keep you consistent, keep you accountable, and it will be an interesting, beautiful experience. I want to just share one thing, one story. This story just really inspired me because it came from a woman who I've coached on and off for the past 6 to 8 months. And she and her husband are retired. They live, in a modest, moderate lifestyle. And she's always been in the fundamental level of mystery school. And I got on a call with her last week, and she says, she's probably on this call now. She said, I've always been in fundamental, but we had a God money experience, and it's been totally through the mantras. She has attributed all of this to the mantras. And she said, we had some God money, so the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get into Premier. And she said, from the moment I decided I wanted to do the Premier program. Now, both programs are fantastic. And by the way, everything I've talked about today, you can also do similar programs. So if this program isn't something that you're comfortable with at this point in time, then you can always do everything I said in another way, and using Dr. Pillai's teachings online through AstroVed or through Pillai Center. So everything is doable. But she said, something really interesting happened the minute I decided. And she, by the way, she wasn't really sure. I don't think that she was even going to get into the mystery school program, fundamental or otherwise. And she said, the moment I decided and I just did it, she said, everything has changed in our life. It's like my husband's health has improved, my health has improved. She said, the people who have been a little bit not favorable to me in my life, all of a sudden they're turning favorable, and I can kind of see them as angels. Like they're kind of really good people. So her whole view is changed as well. Her whole perspective on life is changing. So I wanted to just mention that and as a closing. And thank you very much for this time to share what comes from my heart with Dr. Pillai.